Welcome back to the Caribou Data Science channel. It's the evening of November 19th, 2020, and I'm getting ready to run some additional reports for various U.S. states. The first state will be, of course, would be a randomly selected North Dakota. Do we have North Dakota? No, we do not. So let's come over here then. Hmm. Add this to the top here. North Dakota. 19. Okay. So now let's come back over here. Let's create a new R Markdown file. Okay, let's do that. Now, as always, there'll probably be quite a bit of cutting and pasting going on here. Okay, there we go. Let's expand this out. Let's get rid of this. And let's just copy these things over here. All right. This just modifies the theme, replaces the horizontal and vertical lines as a dashed. Okay. Now let's come back over here. Okay. So let's run this and run this. Get our summary stats for North Dakota. Check this here. Good. What's the population of North Dakota? North Dakota's population. Really? Population estimates 2019, 762,062. Holy chimoli. Okay, for some reason he got a negative 35 cases there. Right? So we got an average number of cases is 266, maximum of 2,270, average death 3.1, maximum death 30. So I'm not really sure how what we're going to have here. Okay, let's just run the cumulative cases as we do always. Okay. Okay, so there are about 70,000 cases right now. Okay, deaths about 800 deaths. So if we take what happens if we take the average? Okay, so that takes care of that. You know what? I'm going to take the total cases and deaths, and I'm actually going to put those down here. Okay, except that's not where I actually that's not where I actually wanted it. Okay, let's put there. So let's see. When was their first? The first cases were 317. 17. Let's run this. See what we got here. Okay. So what we're seeing here is their mortality rate is well below. I don't know what the mean is. 1.7%. Okay. So this must be 2.5%. This is 1.7. So you can see from July onward, they were doing very good as far as their mortality rate is concerned. So now let's take a look at cases by day. Now let's take a look at cases by day. Okay, you can see cases are spiking at about, on average, about 1250, 1300 per day average, with the spike as high as what? What? 2,275 maybe cases. Deaths against some volatility. Let's just take a look here, make sure there's no missing dates. Okay, good. So now here's deaths by date. You can see that the average deaths is about 15, with spikes up as high as 30. So so currently, uh, as of 18th, there are 16 deaths, 1,263 cases. Okay, so the deaths again, the deaths are, this is 30 deaths. The average is about 15 deaths per day. Okay, we take the volatility out of the picture. All right. So now let's take a look at the weekly numbers. Weekly numbers are good for cutting through the volatility. Okay, so you can see this long, steady decline up here to about Well, what is that? 700 to 10,000, 250,000, 2,500, which makes it what, 8,000? Okay. Deaths are also not looking good. The spiking up, continue to spike upward. But then again, there's only 100 deaths per week. Okay. So it remains to be seen with this week what this week is going to do. So let's take a look at monthly cases. Monthly cases. Okay. Monthly cases are continuing to spike. This is November. They've already passed October's cases. And in all probability, November will catch October's cases. So it's just 100, 150, 200, 250, 275. They've certainly passed through 275 to 300 deaths for the month of November, which is still an incredibly good number, all things considered. Okay. We'll get a little funky here. We're actually going to let's come back up here just for the sake of it. Okay, so we got here. What I'm doing, I'm just going to throw in a little bit extra information here for you. Cancer, CANCER. Let's get rid of this. So we don't need that. North Dakota. Okay. Or we shouldn't need this either. Must be state. Oh, North Dakota. Voila, cases. Deaths. So you jumped from 1 up to 1,320. Hmm, that's interesting. Okay, let's come down here. Let's copy this. Okay. Not cancer now, but what is it? Heart disease. Okay. Okay. Let's see some. DIS. EASC. ISEASC. Okay, so we don't need these. Let's just call this heart. Change this to heart. Change heart. What let's do? Let's put let's put this all the way at the top. Then let's put mortality rate. Okay? So that takes care of North Dakota. Did we look up North Dakota? Okay. I forgot to look up North Dakota. Let's run this again from the top then. Okay. So here we go. Average number of cases per day, 266. Maximum, 2270. Average number of deaths per day, 3.19. Maximum, 30. Cancer and heart-related deaths by day. Cancer deaths a year, heart disease deaths by day. I don't know. I'm a little suspicious of some of their numbers, honestly. Okay. So what do you think? So let's come back at the top here. Interesting that these numbers are identical. Mortality rate is average. What, 3.7%? Mortality rate isn't really that bad. It's very flat. Say between 2 and 4%. Deaths, of course, are climbing. Cases are climbing. Deaths are climbing. These are cumulative numbers. Now, if we take a look at the daily numbers, you can see that cases are definitely climbing in North Dakota. Average of about 1250 per day, 1300 cases per day. The deaths here, even the highest spike is 30, but the average is probably about 17 deaths per day. Take a look at some weekly numbers. You can see the decline up. There's a chance that this week will not catch the previous 2 weeks. There was a slight decline in deaths last week. There's a pretty good chance that this week's deaths will not catch this number either. Monthly numbers, nice steady climb up in cases. Well, again, a climb up in deaths, but only 250, 300 deaths for October. Although November's deaths will most certainly uh, catch October's deaths. So overall, not a particularly good situation for North Dakota to be in right now. Let's go ahead and update this database here. Okay, so that takes care of that country. Let's see. Let's close this. Come back over here. Arizona. So let's take a look at Arizona now. Okay, first of all, let's take a look at some. Let's see, with no plan from state leaders, Arizona school districts confront hard choices with COVID-19. Rapid COVID-19 testing coming to Arizona airports. Arizona 19 dashboard. Stable, but changes should be coming. Concern growing of a rising COVID-19 case in Arizona. Okay, so now let's come back over here. Let us create a new markdown file. Okay, save this. Wait. Let's do this. Let's delete. You know what? Let's delete Arizona and use a new format. Okay. This way I can use the new improved form. Okay. So let's come back over here then. Take this right here. So let's check this out. Arizona averaging 951 cases per day, maximum 4,797. Average number of deaths 43, maximum deaths 158. Okay. So now let's just compare this to a couple other diseases, if you will, specifically heart disease and cancer, because it's important to we don't lose perspective here. Okay. I'm guessing AZ. So interesting. Okay. Cancer deaths by year for Arizona. In 2018, 1,000 1,200 12,113 cancer deaths in 2018. They've actually saw a decline at the three, maybe. Now let's take a look at heart-related deaths. 12,455 heart-related deaths in Arizona in 2018, which is greater than all the months, which is the highest so far since 2005. Okay, we just need to keep those numbers in mind. Okay, the 12,000 numbers. Let me look at the entire mortality rate. Let's see something over here now. When did we see the first? When did we see the first new case in? The first case was 3-3. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, let's just check the mortality rate then. The average mortality, this is 5. This is 5. So this is maybe 4. Well, I mean, this is throwing off the numbers obviously somewhat because the MIDI fell back down to about 5%. Okay. October has seen a fall below average. This is 10. So they do appear to be struggling with their numbers. Let's take a look at the cumulative numbers here now. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, if you in the description below, there will be a table of contents, and there will also be a buy me a cup of coffee link. So you can click on that, make a small donation to help pay with my coffee for today. Okay. Let's take like a cumulative deaths now. Now this is kind of interesting. You got to start here, but it does appear to flatten out briefly before it goes back to 1 cases. Came up, steepen the curve here, and maybe flatten a little bit there. Okay. Let's do a plot of cases by day. Wow. They're certainly struggling with cases, that's for sure. They had a decline back in July, then it began to pick up again in October. Goodness gracious. But deaths, currently the deaths are about 25 per day, 25 to 30 per day. There was a long decline, a good decline here, but now it's starting to climb back up again. Now let's look at weekly and monthly numbers. Okay. Look at cases. Well, their cases have pretty much followed the national numbers, honestly. Big spike in cases back in July. Now a new spike beginning in October. What about deaths? But deaths are well below the spike back here in July and August, okay? We're talking maybe 150, 175 deaths per week. So I'm not quite sure that's really that bad. Let's run. Okay, so you can see, well, deaths have climbed a little bit, nothing compared to June and July numbers. Deaths so far this month are about, 25, 12, 37,500, around that range. So far, October was only about 25,000 deaths. Really? 25,000 cases. Okay, that's better. Take a look at deaths. We see deaths here a little above 500. Then decline. It's hard to say, but maybe November's deaths will stay below 500. I'm not sure for a state the size of Arizona if 500 deaths for the month is that bad. Okay, mortality rate doesn't appear to be overly bad, but anyway, that takes care of. Let's run this from the top again. I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to recreate all these reports over again with the newer format. Okay. Cancer cases by year, cancer death, or the heart disease deaths by year. So what's the current number of cases? Let's see something. Let's take a look here. Let's do a sum of. Okay. Yeah, about so far they have about half as many COVID-19 deaths as they have cancer deaths in 2018. Cases are 277,000, so that's more cases than the cancer deaths or heart disease deaths, but half as many cancer deaths as heart disease deaths, half as many COVID-19 deaths as there was either cancer deaths for 2018 or cancer heart disease deaths for 2018. So I think there is a perspective point there. I mean, yet there's no panic over cancer and heart disease deaths. No media coverage. No political posturing. We just completely ignore. We get upset when we have 6,353 deaths through the first 10 months. Okay, run this one more time from the top. Then we'll go on to our next report. Okay. Okay, so we'll take care of this here, Arizona. So we'll take care of this. Okay, so that takes care of Arizona. What's next on our hit parade here? Oh, California. Very good. Very good. So let's kind of put a new date in here. Okay. Let's start out here with a new markdown file. Okay. Let's come back over here. Get rid of California. Okay. You got a new sheet here. All right. No, we could just completely, copy entire file, but where's the fun in that? So first of all, let's come back over here. Let's Newsom orders California curfew as coronavirus cases surge. California imposes limited curfew amid COVID-19 surge. Which California counties will have the coronavirus curfew? Curfew order for most California counties by Governor Gavin Newsom. Issues limit to stay at home. Okay, where were we? So let's come over here. Now, we could, of course, just completely copy and copy the whole thing. Okay. Matter of fact, let's just do that, just for the fun of it. Okay, let's copy the entire thing over here. Okay. Copy these right here. Okay. Let's come down here. Okay. This is for the cancer information. Okay. So now, see how this looks. Okay. So this means that there's a problem up here someplace. And it's right there. Huh. Well, that should work, right? Okay, so why is this not working here? Let's just go on back down and start. That's sort of a lazy way to do it, but let's see what's going on here, shall we? On this, on this. Average cases 3,588. Average deaths 61.9. Maximum 12,162 cases, 213 deaths. Let's take a look at cancer deaths first of all. Cancer deaths per year spiked up 59,062 cancer deaths in California. Let's look at heart disease. Okay. Huh. This is interesting. Huh. Never quite sure what that's saying. Okay. This makes absolutely no sense. So there's a problem right there. Not sure what that means, but we can still look at cancer, okay? Hmm. Okay, so this may not be quite right here for some reason or other. And let's see. The fact still remains there are more cancer and heart disease deaths in California than there are per year than there will be COVID-19. So now let's take a look at the mortality rate. When was the first case? So, first case is, okay? Okay. So you can see California has quite a bit of volatility, even in their rate. Although this is 5%. So you've also had a lot of time underneath the average daily mortality rate also, but it is going up and down. Okay. Let's just take a look at cumulative cases here. Cumulative cases, no surprise, going up, up, up. Cumulative deaths going up to a total of over, this is 15,000 deaths, 10,000, 12,500, 1,500, 17,500, about 1,800 deaths so far. 18,000 deaths so far. Okay, now let's look at the cases by day. Take a look at total cases, total deaths. Well, it looks like my niece and nephew, Jenny and Heath, have COVID-19. Fortunately, Jenny's well below the dangerous age for that. Oh, Heath's probably less than me, so he's okay. Okay, so this is interesting. California's cases have caught the previous high, but deaths had a long declining number here, and appear to be maybe climbing back up. The other thing is, there's a lot of volatility. Okay, so I would say they're averaging right now about 50 per day. So let's take a look at weekly cases, weekly deaths here. Sometimes the weekly is a better indicator because it takes a lot of the craziness out of the numbers. Well, look at this. Okay, well, this number looks familiar, doesn't it? Maybe this is where the U.S. is getting most of its cases from. Okay, but the first spike back in July. Now, 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 since October, we've had increasing cases. But this is what is interesting. Look at this long decline in weekly deaths all the way down to here. Now, there may be a climb back up here, remains to be seen. But look at this decline right there. Okay, let's take a look at monthly numbers now. Okay, okay. Let's take a monthly numbers here. Okay, here's cases by month for California. But you can see even with this huge here, they're still well below these two big numbers right here. Deaths are declining. There's a good chance that deaths will finish below October's deaths 2 weeks ago. Okay? So let's run this one more time from the top. Yeah. Okay. So what's the situation in California again? We could ignore this one. I'm not really sure why we're getting those numbers like that there for. Doesn't make any sense. Whatever reason, it didn't like these numbers. So maybe it's a column that's offset or something like that. Mortality rate Still a little volatility and mortality. It does appear to be, since October, has appeared to go down below the 2.5% mark, which is good. Cumulative deaths, no surprise. Cumulative deaths, no surprise. Must follow the national movement exactly. You had a spike in deaths back in it's like August, September, followed by a long decline. Now it appears it may be trending back up a little bit here. If we look at weekly numbers, you can see here a decline back up, and now it may decline again. They had a long decline in weekly deaths, which is really interesting. Okay, monthly deaths, with monthly cases, a slight spike back up, while monthly deaths has continued to fall, if that's correct. Weekly subset. Okay, so somewhere over here, I got a problem with titles. Huh, not really quite sure what's causing that. All these things seem to be okay. Interesting. Maybe it's because we've got an extra column there. Okay, so let's just run this quickly from the top. Total deaths by month. Hmm. I'm not quite sure. Uh, how many have I done so far here? I think I'll call that a quit for tonight's numbers here. Uh, so thanks for popping by. We'll catch you later on more states reports.